Everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. She's here, she's finally here. Camille has been released from into the game, and I've had a couple of opportunities to play her, so I figure, hey, let's go ahead and do a podcast now. I will be blunt here. I have not had a chance to play her in the top lane. Everyone's trying to play the champion on release day. You guys kind of know how it goes. I was, however, able to play Camille a couple of times in the jungle, and I just wanted to let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on Camille on day one. Now, my opinion will obviously change a little bit. Usually what happens when Riot releases a champion is that they're released over the weekend, so I've got a lot of time to look at them and kind of do some research before the weekday starts, and I have to actually start writing articles about them. But unfortunately, didn't quite have that opportunity. Riot decided to wait a little bit. I think they had some delays getting the champion spotlight out, hence why they decided to take a long time kind of thinking about it. But anyways, I have a bit, so let's go ahead and talk Camille. Now, Camille is a diver. So that means that she's supposed to be going for the back line, has enough kill threat to kill them, but also less tankiness than someone like a tank, and a lot less disruption. I think Camille so far fills that role very, very well. She has really good backline access, thanks to Hookshot, which is a really fun ability, by the way. She does, honestly, not that much damage, which I think is the main complaint I can level about Camille, is that someone like Vi, for example, can get to the back line, and it feels like you're pretty much going to kill the person very quickly unless you get responded to immediately. Jarvan the Fourth, a lot of high upfront damage. He's pretty much gonna hit all the buttons, and if he hits you, that's most of your health right there. Of course, it could be argued that he's more of a vanguard than anything else. Camille, meanwhile, though, doesn't really seem to have that much damage. Tactical Sweep does almost no damage. Precision Protocol, most of its damage is backloaded with the second activation that requires a lot of precision to use correctly, and I just can't see Camille doing that much damage as a diver. Now, this is both a good and a bad thing. I think from a design standpoint, it's good because Camille brings a lot of other assets to a team, especially team-wide disruption with Hextech Ultimatum, target lockdown with Hextech Ultimatum, all those kinds of things. But her damage is not very high, and I feel like, if anything, that would be a place she needs to be buffed. A lot of people, though, are already complaining that Tank Camille, not Emile, Tank Camille does so much damage, and she's so good, and nerf please, and I don't think they necessarily understand that at the moment, Camille is supposed to be fairly tanky. She is supposed to build tank, guys. There's no such thing as tank Camille, because it's kind of her intended role. She should be building one or two damage items, I should say, and then in a tank, kind of like how Fiora is getting played, or how Vi would be played. Now, I would say that I don't necessarily know if she's broken or not. Obviously, it's still day one, but, you know, I think that is something to keep our eyes out for, and I'll know a little bit more once I get to play her more in the coming days, so I might talk about her again on Friday, just to give you guys a little bit more thoughts about what I kind of feel. Now, Camille's Q is the bulk of her damage, and the biggest issue I have is that, again, it's very backloaded, and I don't feel like that second attack does nearly as much as it should. And I can definitely see where Camille would be high skill cap because you have to time the auto attack very carefully. Wait too long and you won't get a chance to use it. Wait too early and you won't get the bonus damage. You'll just get an auto attack reset. So, again, very high skill cap champion are Camille. Tactical Sweep is a really weird ability, and I'm not sure I like it because it doesn't feel like, even if you get enemies in the outer cone, the healing and the damage really isn't that high. Now, maybe if I'm in the top lane and I'm getting an entire minion wave plus the enemy champion in the E or in the W, maybe that'll be something I think is really crazy strong, but at least in the jungle and in team fights, I don't feel like Tactical Sweep does that much. The slow is kind of nice, but really that's about it. Hookshot is a really fun ability, kind of lets Camille slingshot all over the place. Now, the biggest thing about Hookshot is that the mobility is both more and less than you think it is. In the middle of a hectic team fight, Hookshot lets Camille get really, really far into teams if she can hookshot into a wall and then jump at a champion, because that doubled leap range is absolutely massive. However, at the same time, if you're trying to use it outside of combat, the range on wall dive, I should say, is minuscule. You can hookshot to the wall, but then there are very few walls you can actually get over unless you've got an enemy champion coming to you. Now, obviously, this is an attempt by Riot to make it so that Camille's strengths are in combat, not out of combat. Sort of how Fiora Lunge will only gain the reduced cooldown if she hits something with it. So she can't lunge around the map just to move faster. She pretty much needs to use it in combat, and I feel like that's the same thing they're doing with Camille. It is kind of a bit of a thing I'm not that much of a fan of, because I did like hookshotting around and kind of jumping at things, but I understand why they made the decision. Hookshot also, it seems, does not wait very much time before it has you jump off the wall. Now, maybe that's just because I'm using SmartCast and I'm doing something wrong with the SmartCast version, but it feels like I kind of hookshot onto a wall and then immediately hookshot over it or jump in another direction or something along those lines. It feels like I'm jumping in whichever direction the mouse currently is, and that's not necessarily what you're trying to do. So a little bit quick on the draw, our hookshot. However, it is a pretty fun move. If you can land it properly, the stun is pretty nice, plus the bonus attack speed allows you to put a lot of damage on, especially with something like Titanic Hydra, so it's pretty cool. Hextech Ultimatum is a... excuse me. Hextech Ultimatum, meanwhile, is a really, really powerful ability. I think the issue right now for me is finding a good place to use it. Now, this game was a little bit nicer because we did have a Nunu, so it was pretty much press R on some guy, and then Nunu walks up to the guy and also presses R, and, well, you can't escape from the absolute zero that way. But it is really weird to find a good time to use it. Using it in the middle of a fight means that you're in the middle and you don't really want to leave, because then the enemy can leave, but they can all get on you, and it's an interesting ability. I can see its potential, though, being able to cage someone off and say, you are going to stay here until I die or you die or I leave, which is really, really good. I think it's going to be more of a professional tool, and that's where we're going to see people break the ability, because I do think it's really strong. But at the very least, I can't find a very good opportunity to use it right now. It seems like in most fights, I held off on using Hextech Ultimatum in general. So, Camille Jungle also, by the way, is not that bad. I thought Camille was going to be very weak in the jungle, but she seems like she clears fairly well. She ganks decently as long as you can find a wall to hookshot onto, and Camille Jungle is really not terrible. Now, is it better than her top lane? I unfortunately wouldn't know, as I have not had an opportunity to play top Camille yet, but I will let you guys know in coming posts, maybe in Friday's podcast, if I continue to play Camille. So yeah, those are kind of my first day thoughts. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video because, well, I've only had one day and a couple of games to play here, so you guys will definitely see more content from me later on. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in and watching. I do appreciate it. Go ahead and leave a like on this video and let me know what you guys think of Camille on day one. If you've had any experiences with her, positive or negative, I don't care. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this, as it does help me out in what I do. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.